again. Time for another update. So the last video, we worked on the dimmer switch and the fuel pump and all that stuff. That video was actually shot a few weeks ago at this point. Since then, I had my appointment at the DMV to get title registration done. I've had the Jeep for a while now, but unfortunately with the restrictions put in place because of COVID-19, DMV is doing appointments only, and it's taken literally months to get an appointment where I could actually get in there. Unfortunately, as happens with old cars, there are issues with the title, so I was not able to register it. I'm going to say these aren't fatal issues. I'm not completely deflated over this. It is a pain in the butt, and it is very frustrating, but it's not insurmountable. It'll be fixed. I have been in contact with the previous owner. He's been really cool about the whole thing. There's no shady business going on or anything. This was an honest mistake by both of us, if I'm honest, and it will get resolved. But unfortunately, again, because of the appointments and whatnot that have to happen, we can't just meet up and go to the DMV and correct this. We have to actually schedule an appointment, which we've done, and the two of us will go to the DMV together and get this taken care of. It's just one of those things. So the issue is this is kind of weird. The title for the vehicle is not the title for this Jeep. It is a title for a nearly identical 73, same color, same options, except the title I have is for a V8. Apparently, the guy's dad actually owned two of these. I mean, cool, right? Who wouldn't want two Commandos from 1973? But, he didn't know this. He said he doesn't remember his dad having more than this one. But, I went to the DMV, or while at the DMV, they dug around for me and said that seems to be the case. So that's the issue. Kind of a weird issue, and again, it's my fault for not reading the entire VIN and matching it to what is on the door plaque here. So I'm kind of putting moratorium on spending money on this for the time being. There are a few parts I've ordered, headlights, the dimmer switch dongle, and ordered some gear oil for the differentials and the transfer case. I haven't been through those yet. And so all those parts have since come in, so I'll be making videos on all that stuff as I go. I just may as well do it. I've already got the parts, and it's free at this point, right? Already paid for it. But I'm not going to spend any more money, at least not big money. I might buy a tool or two, compression gauge or whatnot, but I'm not buying any more body parts. I'm not doing any of that yet. That said, I have been doing other stuff, mainly cleaning. And if you've noticed the roll bar here, there's about $400 worth of electrical tape on this. Someone really spent some time wrapping it, and I cleaned that up. Just the Jeep in general. When I bought it, I vacuumed it out. I cleaned all the trash out of it, that kind of stuff. But I didn't really clean it, and it's it shows. You sit in here and it smells like mold and mouse pee, and I don't know if I ever mentioned, but the airbox had a mouse nest in it. I've cleaned that out, but the smell still kind of lingers in the one bit of cloth that is in here, and it's in the seat cushions. The smell is just kind of there. It's not as bad, but between that and the mold smell, it just made it kind of a mess to work in here. It's an old Jeep, they stink, but there's no reason why it has to smell like a garbage dump. So I took some time, I cleaned it up. If you look at the top, this has been cleaned. It was back here in the corners, the whole top really. So if you remember in some of the previous videos, you could see it was kind of had a black haze on it. Just turns out it was just old dirt and probably some black mold, good stuff to breathe. So I literally just sat with a bucket of hot water and some concentrated car wash and a rag and spent a couple hours in here wiping everything down. I didn't saturate anything, you know, I don't want to pool water up. The thing's got enough problems rusting, it doesn't need help from the water. But I cleaned it up, and it does smell much better in here now. It just looks cleaner. I feel better about my kid being in here helping me and stuff like that. You don't want to breathe all that garbage in. Another thing I've done, this is again kind of cheesy. I put some treatment on the floors. I know you're thinking, well, they're all, you know, they've got some rust holes. They're rusted. Why would you bother doing that? Some more over here. I just like the way it looks. You know, I've been looking at these dirty old floors since I got it, and laying on them, and I thought it was time to clean them up. So all that is this is cheesy as I'll get out, but all that is a little light oil, or grease rather. The kind of stuff you put on like door hinges, and I literally just put a little on the floor and rubbed it in with a rag. Kind of smells good too. It smells kind of like WD-40. So I mean, it smells like a Jeep now, right? Jeep cologne, gas and motor oil. A little bit of axle grease. Smells better than the mouse pee and the mold, and it just looks a little better. You know, yeah, when I finally get around to welding these, it's going to have to be cleaned off, you know, all that mess, but whatever. That's a long time down the road, and it protects them too. Keeps the moisture out. It is pretty damp in here. You know, it's winter, we don't get much sun. Another thing I've done is I fixed the driver's side window. When I first bought it, it was open about 2 or 3 inches maybe, and it wouldn't roll up. That ended up being an issue with the way the door was adjusted, and I can show you that in a minute. The previous owner had kind of a curtain of tape up here. You can kind of see the residue still. Like pieces, all this stuff. That was just a curtain of duct tape, and it was taped to the door, and I got sick of hitting my head on it, so I cleaned it all out and rolled the window up. And notice the window, while it does roll up nice, it doesn't roll down. It would roll down about 2-3 inches back to where it was, and hard stop, wouldn't move. So I did find out what the issue is. It is since, I'm not going to say fixed, but mitigated. The window works again. Let me take this door panel off and I'll show you. It's kind of weird. Okay, so here's the door panel off. You see the window's all the way up. If I roll it down, it would go to about there and it would stop. And I noticed when I would roll it down, it was so hard to roll down that you could actually see this panel bowing as this thing was, as you put torque on it. These are the bolts these were all loose. The handle bolts, I guess these hold the regulator on. They were loose. So when this is why the window wouldn't roll up all the way. You'd roll it up and it would just basically slide down. So I fixed it. The not rolling down is a new issue, or was a new issue. But if you'll see, watch, here it comes all the way down. The issue ended up being this bar. So this is the bar that comes from the regulator. It goes over to, I can't get my phone in there, but there's a crank wheel back here. Hang on. So you can see that guy back in there. And that just comes off of that. And you'll see it's kind of bent. The issue was that this thing is actually bent this way, and it was actually hitting on the back of the door lever. So there's a bracket back here that this sits in, and it was hitting the top of that bracket. And you can see right here where it's dented. It's been doing that for quite some time. So I basically took a pair of giant pair of channel locks and just torqued on that thing until it finally clears. You have to be careful though, because the glass is literally right here. And you break one of these windows and you're in a world of hurt. They're hard to get and they're expensive. So I like I said, I didn't fix it so much as mitigate it. It works now. I did put some grease on here, you know, the same stuff I put on the floors actually. Just a light grease. You can see I greased up the track here. This is probably a little too much grease, but one thing I noticed, and when it finally started to work, is when you roll it up, it took so much force on this handle to get it to go up that I could actually see this bar flexing, and I could see this panel flexing under the pressure. So there's, you know, the cat whiskers are missing in here, or there's a metal track that runs down the inside. It's got a rubber glide inside of it. Those are missing. You can see they're down there. Those are destroyed. It's basically just a metal channel. So it was binding up, and I have a feeling that's probably why this thing was bent to begin with. It just got so hard to roll up, and it finally buckled under the pressure. While I was in there, I also, you probably saw it a second ago, but also put some grease on the actual wheel, the gear. So as you know, roll this up and down, that's the gear that actually translates your handle into there and rolls the window up. Between that, putting some grease on this slide here, I also put some grease in the track here. I know there's supposed to be a rubber in here, but you know, the rivets and things were actually catching the edge of the door here, and again it was stopping it. The door and the window goes down, and it'll come all the way back up. I also discovered another thing. This door doesn't actually stay closed. If it'll close, but if you lean on it, it pops open. The latch doesn't latch. You can kind of see right here. You know, this thing just turns. It's supposed to be two detents there, the first latch and then the final when that closes. It didn't work, and that's because there's a latch up in here. You can't see because it's dark. You can kind of see it up in there. What is this thing doing? So you can kind of see the latch in there. There's a little spring on that actually locks in two different places. It kind of holds tension on that, and that's missing or broken. So got to get a new one of those. Lastly, I did take a little bit of that oil or grease and just kind of rub it into this back of this door panel. It's in pretty good shape. You know, there's a little bit of surface rust, but you know, it's exposed to the elements, and it's relatively rust free, as is most of the door. So I figured, why not? Okay, so that's kind of what I've been working on, in an effort to not spend money but still make progress. Yeah. Next couple of videos, it'll be probably similar stuff. You know, I'll change the differential, or at least check the fluid in the differentials, the oil there, and the transfer case. If I find anything interesting, you know, I'll record it, and if anything interesting happens, I'll, you know, do a video of it. I still haven't fully inspected the brakes. You know, I bled them, they work now, but I haven't really put eyes on the hardware. I have no idea what kind of shape they're in. Previous owner says his dad had a bunch of work done to it 6 or 8 years ago, but I don't know, you know, what exactly that means. Yeah, but for right now, happy it's cleaner, better than it was. Happy the door works. You know, when your car smells like mouse pee and mold, it's good to have windows that roll down, and it just makes it easier to open and shut these doors. The tracks are missing, so they kind of rattle anyway. That makes it a little less annoying. And still got a bunch of electrical stuff to go through. I'll be doing a video again soon with some of the stuff that I found. And yeah, interesting, fun stuff to work on. But I keep you updated. As soon as I have some more stuff to show, I'll put it up. And thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, learn from my mistakes. Don't be super diligent when you're buying an old card. Check the title, check the VIN number, character for character, make sure it matches. Close counts in a lot of ways, but it doesn't matter with this. They got some. All right. But thanks for tuning in, and get you an update soon. Later.